I'm a little speechless, I have to say. You guys are amazing. We were happy to co-commission this piece because it sounded like it was going to be great, but I don't think anybody had a sense of quite how powerful the final results might be. So thank you, first of all, really. We will open up to questions so you can think about what things you're curious about, but we'll talk a little bit to get maybe some ideas started. Before we talk about the more obvious things, I have two questions. The first one is, where did the books come from?
Oh, the books.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's an odd question, but I was looking at them, trying to figure out what holds them together and where are they from.
Yeah. Well, the honest answer is Oxfam on Bold Street, but the idea for the books came from, I think it came firstly from when Khaled, so Khaled, for those of you who don't know, is real. He really exists, and he's living near Aden at the moment. And when he does his videos, he sets up his camera on a stack of books. So that's sort of where the first idea came from. And then we found out more about him and that he's read over 300 books on positive thinking and, you know, self-improvement and all this sort of stuff. And obviously Amina's studying, and so she has this loads of things to read for uni. You know, so it's sort of, and we thought, okay, we have to be able to put all this stuff on a train to Liverpool from London. So what's an easy thing? And that's where the books came from.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Thanks. And even most people in the room who know me probably don't know this about me, but my original research was about film music. And so I'm really curious about the music. And so I wondered if you might be willing to talk a little bit about the process and how you thought about making music to go with as complicated a piece as this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, me and Christine had already collaborated on a piece called Lost and Found with the organisation Freedom from Torture. And so I'd had a little practice of working on creating soundscapes and atmospherics. And it's been really enjoyable because I've had such a great script to work with. So there's so many sort of shifts of scene and mood, and so yeah, it was really a case of trawling the internet, or should I say, getting my international network of sound recordists out on the case. aka lots of different internet things, and then also this beautiful voice of Amina's friend, which became a bit of a linchpin. Such beautiful singing, and then the idea of mixing the live with the pre-recorded is something that I've always done. I did it with a ballet before where I sang and had pre-recorded chamber music, and I just think it's really important that there is a live element, otherwise it can feel a little bit dead and a little bit like, you know, you're just hearing a soundtrack. And theatre, the whole point of theatre is that it's live and it's alive and it's exciting in that way. So yeah.
That's great. So a similar kind of question to all of you involved in the process of creating this piece. We know it's rooted in people's real stories, but the journey from someone's biography inside their own head to a piece on stage must be a fairly complicated one. Who wants to start talking about that process?
You sure? Yeah? Okay, I'll hand over to you in a minute. Yeah, so Amina and I met, where did we meet? At a meeting in London. I run a theatre company called Ice&Fire, and Ice&Fire is dedicated to exploring stories about human rights. And this particular war in Yemen is something I feel has been ignored and overlooked quite significantly, and is a huge human rights story. So I wanted to find out more, and I wanted to work with people who had direct knowledge about what was going on. And so I started reaching out to Yemenis and found a very active community in Liverpool, and someone suggested to me, I think it was Tara, to come along to a meeting in London. So I did, and Amina was there, and she was expressing some thoughts about supporting people who worked in the cultural world in Yemen and giving them some kind of voice and support. And I thought, aha, okay, let me talk to her at the coffee break. And then we did, and we struck up a kind of collaboration and friendship that it was over about 8 or 9 months. Is that right? Yeah. And so I would ask Amina millions of questions, and she would talk in her very generous way about all sorts of things that were going on. And we decided together how it would go and what we would do. And then Amina reached out to Khaled. Maybe I'll hand it to you for that.
Okay, so I'll go on from the bit of reaching out to Khaled. Before I reached out to Khaled, Christine was looking for another artist to collaborate with, and I suggested maybe we can get an artist in Yemen, and it was a way for me to connect with people back home as well. But before we connected with Khaled, there's so many people that I connected with, but 2 of which were committed to it. So the first guy was Osama, and he was so talented with his art, his videography. But as soon as he arrived to Yemen, that's when the ex-president Ali Abdel Saleh was killed. So he messaged me and said, Amina, I can't commit to this. And for me, it was like, obviously I had a deadline, but it's also understanding that war is not just about bloodshed, and because we kind of run after we hear bodies are dead, we chase death, but really this is about mental health. This is about young people not having to go back to university because their university is closed, and now they're practicing their art. So I told Osama, it's fine, if you ever feel like you can come back, I'm happy to take you on again. So we met up with another guy, and that was one of the most difficult times, because trying to connect with this young man made me realise how bad the war is. Even when we'd have a Skype call, even looking into their eyes, young, ambitious, but that hope is gone, And he broke down to me a few times saying, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And so to me, it's not actual, playing on stage, and it's the process, and I think that is the most important, to learn about these people's lives and connecting with them. And then finally we reached to Khaled, and Khaled, honestly, it was like random. We were just talking, we made friends on Facebook, literally, hi, how are you a singer? And I was like, no. But after that, I seen how ambitious he was, 20 years of age, and I thought, wow, for this young man, working 40 hours a week just to earn $200 a month, I thought that is commitment for his age, looking after his whole family. And I said to him, do you want to write? Do you want to write for a theatre production? He was like, okay, I'll give it a go. So, and that's how it started. And the process of it is the most important. And it made me realise that connecting with people on Facebook, which is as important, and now it's something that I really, really appreciate, by connecting with Yemenis all over the globe. And I'm getting to know more about my home and my people. And you know what? They're so talented. Oh my God, the art that they create. And I'm hoping that a lot of theatre productions, if there's any here, or people within the arts, to encourage them, because they do need financial help, but they also need just recognition, So yeah.
I'm trying to inhabit the character of a real person when the other person was really the person playing herself. That must be kind of odd as a kind of acting process.
Yeah, it was. It was a little odd, but we got to speak with Khaled on Facebook, and he was quite involved. So it was really good to get that first-hand interaction. But yeah, at points, doing this, you're like, this is someone's lived experience, and where it isn't for me, so you sometimes feel a bit cheap, But he can't be here to tell his story. Then it becomes important to kind of tell that story for him. So I feel like I'm doing a service in that way, just taking his words and putting them out there. Yeah.
And you've been involved with Ice and Fire and Actors for Human Rights for a while, so you must have done this before, probably, right? Yeah. So you have a little more experience with that.
With Ice and Fire, though, it's the Actors for Human Rights project. It's more testimony, so we don't actually become the person.
Oh, I see.
It's reading their testimony and going to different places. There's lots of different scripts that we do. So this was slightly different from that point of view. But again, some of the subjects that we touch on, are very difficult, about people in, you know, conflict situations and so forth. So yeah, there is a kind of sensitivity that you have to that material, and so it's quite humbling as well, because as an actor sometimes you're performing and you're thinking about yourself, and here you're not. You're thinking about, actually, this is someone else's story, this is someone else's life. It's more than just, you know, me trying to look good as an actor or something. Yeah.
Are there questions from the audience? Ty, please.
If the play touches my nose and you made me cry.
Can everyone hear him? Okay.
We don't have another.
I can repeat what he's saying. He said the play touched his nerves and made him cry. Me too, I mean.
It was great. It was fantastic. My question to Christine. You mentioned something that you forgot to say, that when we met the first time, and I made connections, you know, with a number of people, there was a group of people who were interested. All of a sudden, they have to pull out. When I heard about Amina, I said, this is great, but I didn't know anymore, and I was not sure until today, which is fantastic. My question is, how can we have this powerful piece to go to many people? I really don't know. We haven't discussed about this, maybe ice and fire. What is it that we are going to do with it from today?
What are we going to do with it?
Can you repeat a little bit of what you said?
Yeah. So I think you were saying you giving praise to the production, which is great, and wanting to know where it can go next. Yep. So it can go places, you know. it's a show. You know, as long as Amina's available, and you know, Waleed is in and out because he's doing other jobs, but you know, you're replaceable. I'm joking. Yeah, you know, we have to raise the money to put it on because it takes time to rehearse it. But yeah, we're open to talking about it. I mean, yeah, let's get the show on the road. If you think there's an audience for it, you can help us find one. Let's do it, is the simple answer. Schools?
Yeah.
Schools. Yeah. Do you know a school?
Any
Yeah.
secondary schools.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm having a chat with Anne afterwards, who helps run the festival, about whether we can do this again and again. But yeah, it's all about making sure the dates work for everybody, making sure there's a bit of money in place, and finding an audience that we know will benefit from it in some way.
Sorry, can I just say?
Yep.
Can you approach the Philosophy Council and ask them to fund it in the schools?
Well, that might be a possibility, but I think often those things seem. I hope we will do it. I actually am positive in the long run. However, those things are complicated, right? You have to have people in each school who are excited about it and willing to do it, and you have to have enough funding, and all the pieces have to fall into place. So we will work on it for sure, but it isn't as easy as it sounds. I was going to say something else, but I forgot. Okay, Anne, go ahead.
Great, I really enjoyed it. I'm just wondering, is Khaled going to see it?
Is what?
Is Khaled going to see it?
Well, we filmed it. So we will send him the film of it, definitely. Yeah.
So some people had questions about the film. What will happen to the film?
Okay, because
They want to see it.
Oh, right, sure. So we're going to use it the footage to make a kind of 2-3 minute trailer of the show, so that if we do want to do it again, we can promote it that way and give people a picture of what it's like. And yeah, and you know, if people, you know, the thing about filming theatre is that it's, you know, it's not made for film, basically. So you know, it's not as engaging to watch as being live, you know. So that's why bits and pieces of it are better than having the whole thing. But you know, if there is someone who would like to see it, I can send them a link, you know, to it with a password or something like that, you know. Is that it? Yeah, about the filming. Yeah, and we will put this Q&A up as well online.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're hoping to have it on the Arab Arts Festival YouTube channel, and you guys may put it places too. So I don't know. Go ahead.
Hi, can I just say, I mean, I love your poetry, you know that, and it's always exceptional. And to see it transferred into a play is amazing. It's so powerful. Your voice is lamenting, it delivers the story, it's passionate. Can I also say that the lived experience is the most important message you can get out there? And if you have to do that by proxy on behalf of somebody, it's very important because you're not a statistic or a number. You're a human being and it has to be out there. And I'm sure people will be accepting of this, but they need to know, they need to see it because this is the history being written today. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think we all agree.
Well, thank you, that's very interesting. I've got comments rather than questions. In terms of exchange of program, if you're going to film it, maybe with some subtitles, can you show it in the Arab world? What I mean is, there is a lot of art and exhibition and theatre, but it has to be somewhere which is a good location, because most of the Arab nations at the minute, I'm afraid it's a bit of chaos. There are so many things in Syria, and Iraq, and Yemen, and Libya, and so on. So there are some events which really give them some awareness. Plus, the advantage is exchanging culture. This is a British Liverpool Scouser culture. It has a lot of popularity outside, you know, because the media and the internet and the satellite, most people are aware of that. So that would be just a comment to see if you develop this program, do a bit of editing in it and see how it goes. Maybe in the States.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I mean, just as a small response, of course, you know, the festival would love to do that, and Ice and Fire would love to do it. As Christina said, it's very complicated to turn a recording of a play into something that people want to watch. It just isn't. It isn't. The reason films are complicated and expensive to make is because they are a different art form and they work differently. And so it's quite complicated to turn what we've recorded tonight into something that people will want to see.
But, you know, you could work on it, you can do an adaptation.
Something might be able to come of it. I think that's right. And we won't forget that idea for sure. So, other questions or comments?
Can I just, before someone asks, I have to say, is Pfizer here? Where's Pfizer who made who brought the tea and the biscuit? Can we all give a round of applause to Pfizer? We did the tea and the biscuit. Oh my God. Delicious, and absolutely amazing tea. And it's a nice thing to have, isn't it, at the start of a show?
Yeah, thank you.
So, do you take bookings, Pfizer? Do you? Yeah. Speak. Oh, she's got a business. Speak to Pfizer if you want more of the same. It's brilliant. Sorry, what was that?
Can I just say, as a rule in our house, whoever gets up first, there's 5 adults of us, but whoever gets up, meaning it's either me or my husband, the others don't want to know. But whoever gets up first has to make the positive.
Well, clearly you got a lot of practice because it was outstanding. So those of you who have not yet met Asya Al-Fazi, she's going to ask the next question. She's here for a few days. She's a fantastic graphic novelist, and so you should stop in at the Blue Coat and see her and also visit her website. But Asya, you wanted to ask something?
First of all, thank you very much for the introduction, and I'm very glad and happy to see you meet everyone here today. It's not really a question, it's almost I think you're going to have to give up answering this question of can this be spread outside, can this be seen over film? No one who watched this today, no one who watched this tonight probably is going to accept that it does not translate well into film. That is just how powerful it was.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, I grew up in Scotland, but hearing the Scouser accent, this is the very first thing that I realised, and I understood exactly what you meant when you said that I was Scouser first and then British. Yes! Yeah, I completely see it. And there is something about the accent, something about the voice. It is so lilting, magical. I cannot sing enough praises. There are no questions. I just hope you do more. I hope you go over well with this.
when are we going to do it again? I think I've answered it. But yeah, we will do it again if we get the support. Yeah.
Is there a question? Oh, I'm sorry, I can't.
Might be related to what was said, because I couldn't hear what the sister was saying, so I don't know. But I just wanted to know if there is another opportunity for people of Liverpool to see this.
You should think this was a hit. Yeah? I think you should feel successful. We tried to talk about maybe putting it on another night this weekend. It's just not possible, but we will try to bring it back. And there is a hope, and it's no more than a hope at the moment, but there's a hope that we'll be able to tour it. We will do our best together. Yeah. We will try.
We can always bring it back to the next Arab Arts Festival
of course.
next year and do 5 shows rather than 1.
There you go. Okay, anyone else? If we're only going to talk about doing it more, I think we covered that. Does anybody have any other kinds of questions? Are we good?
Can I just say, if anyone would like to say a little piece to camera about the show after the Q&A, that would be really good.
That's a great idea.
That's great. So if you want to help the future of maybe doing it, get yourself on record saying how great it was.
Yeah. What a great idea, thank you.
I know that doesn't sound like it's a big deal, but it's a big deal. Yeah. When you look at trailers, those things matter, right? So, great.
Okay, first of all, thank you for the show, it was amazing. I know that Amina is employed, so can we ask her to give us any pieces of her item pieces?
Right now?
Can you say any of your pieces?
Okay.
Is her mic on, or do you want her to use this? Use that one?
Okay. Trying to think off my head. Do you want Yemen? You might hear pieces of it from the play.
That's okay.
So this is to Yemen. So in this poem, I've used Yemen as a friend that I miss, and I love you. I love you. And I love those who love you. And even if they stitch my lips, I will rip them apart only to repeat your name. I love you, and I love those who love you. And I yearn for the day I see you stand on your feet. In faith I hold close to my heart, I believe you will. For I am your complexion, and I'm the dryness to your nose, and I'm the shine to your forehead. And I am the daughter of a Bedouin, and I am the wanderer in my own skin, yearning to return home. But what do I know? What do I know, O people of Yemen? You see, the truth is within my genes. And I belong under the shades of the trees as the sun tries to control all of me. But what do I know? I travelled miles away at the age of 4 to a land I called home. But my heart never approved because something was missing. Upon my eyes as I sit above to unfold the truth, this inner beauty. And so gracefully you sit, you waved hello. You waved hello, but I never had the time to say goodbye. But you still redefined in the style of your own, and you walked along simply, the life one designed and polished with original history lessons that was taught to mankind. But so charming you fall, you attract the eyes of those who don't know. And as I gaze alongside to the birds that chant early morning, rise. Rise, people of Yemen. Thank you.
I think anything else we say after that would be a step down. So thank you all for coming. And if you would like to be recorded saying nice things about the piece, that would be great. We'll see you outside.